Well, it's the last day of the WEF Africa conference. We caught up with South African Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan a little earlier and asked him how WEF Africa is building on from the World Economic Forum that was held in Davos earlier this year. Let's take a look.
It's a much more optimistic place than Davos. We are not as depressed as Europe is at this point in time. But it's building on the idea that Africa has a huge amount to offer both itself and the world. That if you take a medium-term perspective, a 10 or 20-year view, you'll see all sorts of potential on this continent for agriculture, for manufacturing, for financial services, for telecommunications, and for African leaders who are represented here very well by heads of state and former heads of state, which shows the interest that they have in these issues. It's an acknowledgement that if we do the right things in Africa, and many countries have excellent macroeconomic policies in place, let's get our microeconomics right. Let's create the climate for both Africans to invest, like South Africa is investing in Africa, and raise our education levels, build up the skills based on the African continent, and we have a whole lot going for us.
Are we starting to see closer regional integration? And here we're talking about Southern Africa with West Africa and East Africa.
You're certainly seeing that. One example of that would be the initiative of President Zuma to have arranged for the BRICS leaders to meet with African leaders from all the regional formations in Africa, and you had over 15 leaders who came for a 3-hour meeting with the BRICS leaders, and that was a demonstration that South Africa will continue to act as a catalyst for Africa to come together, for Africa to think together, and for Africa to work together.
What do you believe is the biggest priority for Africa at this stage? It's a big place, a big question.
Probably getting more cooperation amongst ourselves, and I think conferences like this are actually helping us to do so. The celebration of 50 years of the OAU, African Union, will give us another opportunity to move into a very different era where we emphasize complementarity, we emphasize cooperation, and we emphasize a sharing of benefits out of that process as well. And generally communicate our optimism to ourselves and to the rest of the world.
And then just a final question, in terms of your agenda, the financial agenda for South Africa, what is at the top of that?
To continue to maintain the good fiscal health we have, to get the financial connectivity on the African continent so that we support businesses, small businesses and bigger businesses, to do business with one another across the continent, and there's progress in that area. And thirdly, to build on the confidence factor, both amongst African investors and foreign investors as well.